So here we are, podcast number 2. So in podcast number 1, we kind of set the scene. We talked to the cyclists about their bikes, about their favourite bikes, about electric bikes, but we also talked about the ABELsport Test. And in this podcast, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So we're going to meet with the people who take the test, we're going to meet with the guinea pig who's going to have the test, we're going to look at the results. So join me as I pull up at Knight Scientific and ring the doorbell. Scott, how you doing?
Okay, yeah.
So
Good.
That's Scott. He's the guy with the lab coat. He does all the tests. Oh, it's Hannah.
Hello, Anthony, how you doing?
That's Hanna. She's the guinea pig. She's the one that's going to give all the blood. Well, it's only a finger prick. Hi, Hanna. Yeah, good to see you. I've only just arrived.
The Ironman will be a very, very long, arduous day out. If there's anything that I can do that is within my control, I will do it.
And importantly, this is where we meet Jan. Hanna, this is Jan.
Hi.
Jan, this
Hi,
is
Hanna.
Hanna. Dr. Jan Knight from Knight Scientific. So, here we all are in the laboratory, and we're going to be looking at the ABELsport Test, which is all about levels of fitness and also used as a way of testing for any underlying infection. Let's get straight into it with Hanna as she talks to us about her training and the event that she is training for.
Tell me what you're doing, because I hope it's third hand.
Yeah, so personally I'm really into my triathlon and I'm doing a full Ironman in 9 weeks, I think. I also coach with a tri club and I work for an organisation called Active Devon. So we're about inspiring and supporting people to lead active lifestyles, but a lot of that work is focused on those that wouldn't ordinarily get active. So we do a lot of inclusion work with underrepresented groups, areas of deprivation, where kind of sport can be used as a tool to help social development as well.
So there you go, Hannah's got a big event coming up. We're going to be hearing from Jan about the antioxidant testing through the ABELsport Test. It's a test that's provided by Knight Scientific to Olympians and Premier League football teams, but the principles apply to all sports. It could be hockey, it could be swimming, and importantly, it could be cycling. So if you're part of the Nash Cycle Network and you'd like to find out more, give me a shout. And whilst we're giving shouts, let's just reference here Peter Dadge at Puffing Billy Cycles at Rangerton, as he's the guy that's making this podcast possible. Let's hear from Jan about the tests.
What we're trying to do is to find out how fatigued you are, how fit you are, all those things. And all I try to say to people is the white blood cell is part of the cells in your blood.
Yep.
You've got red cells, white cells, but a particular group of white cells are I like to think of them as sentinels. If you get a cut, they're there. And their first line is to try to kill if it's a bacterial get in there, or they'll remove that. But at the same time, they say they'll send out chemical messages, and they'll recruit from all over the body other white blood cells, different types, to join them. All we're trying to do is to know what they know. So our test is designed nothing more than to get the secrets from these white blood cells. So we can convert those into different things. So we'll do that now, and we'll be able to show them results straight away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I hadn't
Whereas
anticipated that.
Because I'm going to try to get 2 samples from you, Scott will collect a smaller amount and then let you bleed, and I'll collect from the same piercing.
Okay.
Yeah. He's quite good, actually.
Oh, cool.
And I'd leave it for a second because you can see the drop starts to form.
Yeah.
Probably be waiting 2 minutes. Scott's going to transfer very gently the content into a little green tube. We're measuring light, by the way, because the secret ingredient in this test is a light-emitting protein, which, just to make you laugh, comes from a rock-boring mollusk, and it reacts with the free radicals produced in the test.
So that's your USP.
Yes, that's right. And it's more sensitive than anything else in the world, so that's why we can work with tiny amounts of blood. And Scott is now injecting into the tube a stimulant, and this stimulant is activating the white blood cell to produce these free radicals. How it responds in the test will give us information of what it knew when it was circulating in your body. The results then are sent to a analysis piece of software. That's looking pretty good.
Well, that's good news because I've got quite a heavy weekend of training planned, especially with sunshine in the forecast, so I can go and train really hard. I have no excuse.
And then would you like to pop in next week after we'll see how well you recovered from your training the night before?
Yeah.
It's looking very good.
Well, you couldn't get much more simple than that. A single drop of blood to determine your levels of fitness and also to see whether you may have any underlying infection. So let's turn to Jan, who's going to talk us through the results of the ABELsport Test.
Do you remember that we took the blood sample and we mixed everything together in this test tube, and it contained, one of the items it contained was, I think, a material we call flazen, which produces light. The light is produced when that molecule flazen comes in contact with the so-called free radicals, and the free radicals are produced by some of your white blood cells as the way they ward off infection, they kill pathogens, all kinds of things. So all this test is doing is identifying what's happening, how your white blood cells see what's going on, and we're just trying to get the secret. So as I said, this is actually a light response curve because we're using this substance to turn what's produced by the cells into light. At the point here, your sample is the blue one. The red is a reference sample made up of 385 samples, different people, plus or minus one standard deviation. So that gives us a pretty good idea of the range, and it also shows you a nice shape. You are within the range quite nicely. The shape of your curve we'll find out in a minute, but I can see from looking at it by eye it looks good.
Oh, that's really good.
And if you come again, then we'll have the next sample will be done and it'll be overlaid here, so we'll have the whole history. At the moment it's just the first test.
This is my baseline.
That's right. So the next thing is your sample has been put into a database which contains a whole set of abnormal shaped curves.
So that's my curve as a comparison to different curves.
That's right. So you match very, very well within the age range.
Oh, wow.
So I would say to you, a tiny bit towards the tired side.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you're fit to really go to town. But if you're going to do any training today, then I would suggest if you came in after your training session, we would like to see your first result compared to now. I'd like to see that a bit higher.
Okay.
Not too much higher,
Okay.
about 10-15%. If after training your result is lower, then I'd say to you, rest till you go on your competition and don't really do very much more because it's not doing you any better.
Ah, okay.
So that's
really interesting actually.
Yeah.
So it shows my coach knows what he's talking about because he's prescribed me a lighter session today.
Good.
Because I've had a bit of load during the week. The Ironman will be a very, very long, arduous day out. If there's anything that I can do that is within my control to make that a better, more comfier day which my body responds better to, I'll do it. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy the process, I enjoy the preparation, and I'm an average to good racer. I would like to be up there on a good day. So if I think something's going to make me faster, I'll give it a go as well.
You're training to win in the competition or make your best. So this information will give you your fine-tuning.
Yeah, and it's completely objective, which is what's so...
That's right.
So it would be great to test it a couple of times so that we can see the pattern.
You definitely need that.
And then the most useful test will be the one that happens just before I go to race.
Exactly.
Because normally when you get to... so I'm racing in France. When you get over, you would do a little bit of training to help acclimatise, keep the oxygen pumping around the muscles, etc. But then I guess if I was really low, we would say let's really minimise the amount of training that you
Yes.
do. You need to recover before race day,
Exactly.
not keep pushing it.
So I'd say this is all shaping up rather nicely. The key thing is the ABELsport Test provides you with the additional information that you can use alongside that you already know through your own regime, and also the information you may get from your sporting coach.
Pop in when it's convenient, when you're rested and
Okay.
you haven't done any training after, and then we'll monitor how you are.
So better after a lighter day to come in, or better after a heavier day the day before?
It doesn't matter, simply
Okay.
because we've got some historical information from you now.
When Hannah returns, we're going to run another test, and that'll give us more information about her levels of fitness, and it'll also help us to determine whether or not she has any underlying infection.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so I'll see you probably next week at some point.
Yeah,
Okay,
great.
great.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
wrap.
Brilliant. So our thanks go to Dr. Jan Knight and Scott within the Knight Scientific Laboratory. And don't forget, you can contact me if you'd like to find out more, or if you would like to take part. This podcast has been made possible by Peter Dadge at Puffing Billy Cycles at Rangerton. This is a How production. Please share and subscribe.